Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and welcome to our September reading wrap-up video. Okay, so the month of September started off pretty good, and then as I mentioned in my last video for our October TBR, went to shit. But we did get some reading done this month. So we actually read 7 books, which I'm impressed by because I felt like I didn't read that much in September. But we read 7 books in September, totaling 2,594 pages. We had some good reads, we had some okay reads, and we had some reads this month. And a lot of the books that we read were either at the very beginning of the month or the very end of the month, because a lot was going on in the middle. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but we're just gonna do this really quickly. Quick little September wrap up for our Sunday here. As you can see, I've got my witch hat on because I am filming this in October and it is spooky season, and I have so many excuses to bring this bad boy out whenever I can. But the first book that we finished in the month of September was actually Battleground, the final book in the Dresden Files series. Well, final book in the Dresden Files series that is actually out. It is not the last book in the series. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know I did a Dresden Files rereading challenge, which included reading the 3 books in the series that I had yet to read, and Battleground was included in that. I will link the Dresden Files playlist down below. They are spoiler vlogs, so I won't be talking too much about what happened in this book because it is a book that's the 17th in a series, so it's hard not to give away anything while talking about it because so many things are interconnected. But it did make me cry. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, and I guess I'll mention this too with Battleground. I actually didn't rate Battleground because it felt really hard to rate, and I just had so many emotions about it that I just didn't know really what to rate it. So we left it blank. That's all I have for you. I finished that up on the last day of DragonCon, and then immediately I was like, ooh, I need a palate cleanser. I need a little something that's gonna make me feel a little better about this whole situation. So I decided to pick up my very first Emily Henry book, and I picked up Funny Story by Emily Henry. I've seen a lot of the girlies chat about this here on BookTube, and I give it 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It is about 2 people whose respectively girlfriend and fiance break up with them to get together. They're like childhood, the 2 who break up with them are like childhood best friends. And the girl main character, our female protagonist, ends up moving in with the male protagonist after these breakups, and they end up doing a bit of a fake dating situation and chaos ensues. I loved both of these characters. I thought the story was really fun, the kind of series of events and laying out why these characters have various flaws and how that affects their relationship was done really well. And I would probably pick up another Emily Henry. I don't know which one, but I'd probably pick up another one. Next, I moved on to actually jumping into the Magical Readathon, which I did not complete because, as I mentioned, this month was a tough one. So we did not read all the books that I had set out for the Magical Readathon, but I did read 5 books for the Magical Readathon. So the first book that I read, I picked up at DragonCon, and that was the Love Con by Ceresia Glass. I gave this 3 stars. I did talk about it in the vlog I posted on Sunday last week. I'm talking kind of in depth about what I liked and didn't like about the book, but it was cute. I liked a lot of the B plot. I liked everything surrounding the romance, but for some reason the romance just really didn't do it for me. So that's kind of how we ended up at the 3. It was a good time, but it just didn't scratch that itch. The next book I picked up was actually an ARC that I got off of NetGalley, and I forgot that I had it, and then I was walking around Barnes & Noble and saw the book, and I was like, oh, this looks so cute, and I read the back, and I was like, oh, this looks so cute, and then I went on NetGalley, and I was like, of course this looks cute. I picked it up as an ARC, and that is Hot Hex Boyfriend by Lee Bloom, and I gave this one 4 stars. It is a witchy, enemies to lovers kind of romance in a small town in East Texas. It's got all the fun I feel like you want for cozy fantasy series, and I read it just before Halloween. I really enjoyed it. It really got me in the mood for some cozy fantasy, which is why I picked up some of the books that I am reading here in October. So I suggest you pick it up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I talked about it a little bit more in the Magical Readathon vlog, so you can check it out there if you want to hear a little bit more of my thoughts on that particular book. But if you read the book, let me know, because I had a great time. And I'm curious if we'll be doing additional books in the series or not. I'm curious. Next book that I read for the Magical Readathon was The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the first book in the trilogy, and it was S.A. Chakraborty's debut novel, which is why I picked it up, because that was one of the prompts that I had for the Magical Readathon. I absolutely loved The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, which is her next series that she's been working on, and I wanted to read The City of Brass. I actually had picked it up a long time ago and just hadn't gotten around to reading it, basically because it was a big beefy boy, and I just was like, but The City of Brass read so fast. I flew through this 500+ page book. Like, it took me so much longer to read like the next book we're going to talk about than it did to read The City of Brass. I was just eating it up. She's got a gift. I actually gave it 4.5 stars though. I had a little bit of a hard time getting into the book and like connecting with some of the characters at first. I think when all the characters came together, it was a lot better for me, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna like the next 2 books more in the series, but we shall see. But I still really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read the next one. I already picked it up, so that'll be coming soon. Speaking of the next book that we read, so I tried to read Midnight at the Houdini by Delilah S. Dawson for like 2.5 weeks. It's only like a 300 some odd page book, and it took me like 2.5 weeks to read this book. It was just a slog. It's a book about a young girl. She's 16. She ends up going into this magical hotel and gets stuck, and basically you have 24 hours to get out of this hotel, or you become kind of like a ghost entity that just floats around this like magical hotel in an alternate universe. And I don't know, like, this should have been fun. This should have been right up my alley, but it just really wasn't. It just really wasn't. I wanted to like it. I did. I wanted to like it. I gave it 2.5 stars. It just took forever. I felt like I was grinding through it the entire time, and it wasn't even the YA aspects of it. It was just the story itself just didn't move forward fast enough for me. I just felt like slogging through it. I don't know. What can you do? What can you do? But I was thoroughly impressed because I moved on to a short little book after reading those 2, and that was Beth Revis' Full Speed to Crash Landing, which I would say is like a sci-fi romance-ish. It's only like 196 pages, and our female main character, essentially when we meet her, she's in this like little dinky rig ship, and her hull's blown out, and she is like 20 minutes, 30 minutes left of oxygen in her suit. And she calls out to this bigger ship, and she's concerned because she's been looting and they're, you know, possibly her competition. So she gets on the ship, and the ship has some crew on here. It's like still kind of a skeleton crew, but there's like this mystery going on, and it's both a mystery between like what the crew's looking for, and then also our female protagonist is keeping things from the reader, which is super interesting. So she keeps hinting that she's not giving the full truth to these people, and it's also not giving the full truth to you. It's so you're just like, what is going on this whole time? Like, okay, but then what is it? You're saying these things and you're like, oh, they believed me, but I feel bad that they believed me. And we're like, what do we feel bad that they believed you about? So like, we're kind of in the dark along with the crew, which I think was a really fun element and kept the story moving. And then we have this budding relationship between her and the male protagonist. I don't know. It was really, really good. I gave it 5 stars. I hadn't read anything like it before. I feel like if you like the, what is it? The Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet, like that series, you could like this book, because I feel like it has some of that humor and quirky characters on a ship, and, you know, it's got that kind of same vibe where it's like high stakes, low stakes. Like, there's not like a super crazy amount of plot going on, but there are some important things going on as well in the background along with these characters. But this one is half the size and just really fun. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the books that we read in September. Let's just go ahead and do a quick wrap up for our stats here in September. So like I mentioned, we read 7 books, 2,594 pages, and we had an average rating of 4 stars, which I feel like is pretty accurate, even though I did not give Battleground a rating. But it would have been in the higher, like it would have been rated higher, but like I said, I just didn't feel like I could rate this book, so I didn't. The average book length was 368 pages, and the average amount of time it took me to finish was 5 days, which is kind of crazy because like I said, Midnight at the Houdini took me forever to finish, but I did finish both Battleground, Funny Story, and Full Speed to Crash Landing like within a day, within like 24 hours. So I feel like those kind of balanced out that big lag that I had in the middle of it. Primarily fantasy romance, pretty typical here, with a little bit of historical, and of course we had our one science fiction, which is super fun. We'll check in on our yearly goals here. So the yearly goal that we have, if you remember, is read 75 books, and I am very excited to say that we are currently 91% of the way to our goal, and we just started Q3. We just started Q4. So I'm feeling pretty positive that we are going to exceed our goal of 75 books this year, which is super excited. We're ahead by 11 books now. So who knows, maybe we will scrape 100 this year, which would be crazy for me, honestly, which I don't think I've read that much ever in 1 year. But that is our September wrap up. I know for my videos, this is pretty short. I usually keep my videos fairly lengthy, but we're gonna wrap it up here. I would love to hear how your September went, reading wise or otherwise, so feel free to drop that down at the bottom of the comments section. And as we're getting deeper into spooky season, let me know what you're gonna be for Halloween. I haven't decided if I'm really gonna dress up for Halloween because it's in the middle of the week and I'm doing a Jane Austen adventure experience at the end of October, so it kind of like messes up that Halloween weekend. But I would love to hear what your plans are for Halloween. So feel free to drop that in the comment section. And of course, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stick around for some more bookish and nerdish content, I upload every Sunday and most Wednesdays. And until next time, I hope you read a good book. I hope you find some joy. And most importantly, I hope you do something to make the world a better place. And I will see you in my next one. Bye. This makes it look like Gryffindor.